All right, here's another episode of What's Hockey. We're back from All Star Weekend, All Star break in hockey, where there's a skills competition. Connor McDavid went ahead and won that. That's $1 million, so good for
That's a
him.
lot of money.
It is. There's a goalie in one of the one-on-one competitions. If a goalie, whoever saves the most goals in the one-on-one competition gets 100 grand.
Damn.
I forget who
Was
it
that
was.
Ottinger?
It was not Ottinger. So he won 100 grand.
It
Good for
definitely
that
wasn't
guy.
Alex Lyon. I don't even think he went there.
No, he was not invited. And then the All Star
Ugh.
game happened where teams are split into the whole All Star roster split into four teams. Team Austin Matthews won. He's obviously a Maple Leaf. It was in Toronto, so good for him in front of the home crowd. On that team, a Stars player and a Red Wing. You got DeBrinket, who scored a goal in the final, actually. And then
Nice, yeah.
you had Ottinger as well. And mind you,
Just saved the goal at one point.
that game is like the Pro Bowl where
Nobody tries.
no one tries. It's all breakaways, and so
It's
it
all
didn't really matter.
celebrity, like, oh, look at me, I'm doing great.
Yeah, it didn't really matter. People are just trying not to get hurt.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
moving on to something that may matter, we have some news on the Olympics. Keaton, why don't you
Yeah,
tell
it
us
definitely
about it?
might matter. It might not, though. Yeah, so it looks like the NHL is going to return to the Olympics come 2026, and it looks like they're also scheduled for the 2030. So it'll be the first time since 2020, or sorry, 2014, that the NHL has participated in the Olympics. Just players themselves, not teams, of course, but take Connor McDavid, for example. He's only 27. In 2014, he was just a little too young to even participate in the Olympics. So it'll be a great way for a lot of players to be able to represent their teams and just, I don't know, experience the Olympics because, they're obviously the best of the best, at least in the United States come NHL. But, they're pretty good overall. I mean, I would say, a lot of players are coming all over the world to play for the NHL. So, I mean, just having that access for the Olympics, not kind of, I guess, shying away from access to just players who just want to play. I mean,
Yeah,
represent their team, have fun, and maybe even have friendships, reunited, that kind of thing. Just people you don't really spend much time with coming back to play together, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. And when it comes to like the leagues around the world, the United States pays the most by far. The
I'm
second
sure.
most is in Russia, and the average salary there is 425 grand, where the average salary here in the United States is over $2 million. And so the best players in the
Yeah.
world absolutely play here in the NHL. And so, being that now, last Olympic go round, no one could represent their teams. A lot of players were frustrated about that. I understand
Yeah.
teams not wanting their players to go and potentially get hurt, but
Yeah.
it's a sense of pride amongst not just the Americans, but every
Yeah, I mean, ever
Canadian,
since the
every
patriotism,
Russian.
I
They all
mean,
want to represent their teams. Is Russia allowed in the Olympics right now? I don't know. I know last
who
time they
knows?
had the ROC, which is like the Russian Olympic Committee, so they couldn't technically be Russia, but they were Russian. They were there.
Nice.
And so, but I mean, you got the Swedes, you got everyone, right? Everyone wants to represent their teams, and it's the
Everyone
best
around the
players and
world.
the countries over there. I'm sure, like the federation, the hockey federation for Sweden's, like, bro, let me get my boys. Like Finland, I'm sure they want Rope. He's finished, right? I think so. But
Nice.
no, so it's a surprising move by the NHL because I feel like they're kind of a little like selfish with their players and stuff. But I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's a good move for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Olympics are kind of a lot more important. Uh, so I think as far as just testing your skills and making sure that you are the best of the best. Because I mean, if you win a gold medal in the Olympics, it's a lot more, I don't know, substantial than just, I don't know, being a part of a team that won a Stanley Cup. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and I think like when it comes to like national team things, there's a bigger pride amongst like other countries. I think, but I mean, America loves it too. There's that whole like Miracle on Ice thing where we go and beat
Yeah.
Russia during the Cold War. So I mean, there's some big deal. Like it's a big deal. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Good for the
be fun to
players.
see.
I'm sure the owners of the teams are still like, I hate this, but I think it's good
I
for the
hope these
players.
guys don't get hurt and I don't lose millions.
Yeah, and that's how they're always going to look at it.
Yeah, pretty much. Money,
So,
money,
and
money.
that's 2026, right?
Yeah, 26.
Got about 2 years till then, so
And then
that'll be
they'll
fun.
follow up in the 2030 Olympics as well. So I mean, they at least have two upcoming
Nice, nice.
events.
And
So that'd be
then
pretty solid.
yeah, and then so outside of international play, we got some headlines across the NHL where we have a firing, Keaton.
Yeah, it looks like Todd McClellan is out of there. He got fired by he's the Kings coach, fired, and now his name Jim Hiller is the interim head coach. Last time I saw, they were fourth in the standings. So I mean, as far as just you know working their way up, I would assume that they would have to fight the very hot Oilers, the very hot Golden Knights, and the very hot Canucks. So that's a very power packed division. And with Todd McClellan taking that big slip, I don't know, the last 10 or something. I think it was like 3-5-2 or something. It was just really bad. And I mean, I think we talked about it last week. He basically owned up to the mistakes and stuff like that. So I mean, ownership was just like, "Fuck it, dude. If you're gonna own up to the mistakes, I mean, you're out of there." So at this point, they're just gonna hopefully, at least maintain the wild card spot. Hopefully, get up to that third or maybe even the second spot. I can't imagine. But that Pacific Division is very, very packed, and it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. Because
Yeah,
as we've discussed, firing the coaches, they should get some sort of in their step. Just make sure that they're going to play a little bit harder or a little bit more with heart. I don't know, but yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they react.
yeah. I mean, like you mentioned, that is an insanely stacked division. With you got Vegas, of course, you got the Canucks going off, and that we have seen teams after they fire their coach get a little boost for sure. I don't know if that'll be enough. The Canucks, who are leading their division, just made a trade as well to improve their team. They went ahead and traded with who was it? I've got it right here. The Flames to bring in Elias Lindholm, another forward. So they're trying to add some firepower there. Um, I mean, that's a very competitive division. Uh, Maybe the Kings can get a wild card. I know
They should
they
be
are
the
in position to get the wild.
yeah
No, yeah, because three from each division and then
yeah
one wild card team.
they're
So
number one in the wild card, so they should be. That should be a sure shot because I mean it looks like the last or the people rather after it looks like St. Louis, Nashville, Seattle, Arizona, Calgary. So a lot of these teams don't really seem as solid as the Kings have been. So I mean it seems like they're more or less a sure shot for at least a wild card spot, like you said.
and a big advantage they'll have is that they play the Ducks, the Sharks, the Flames have clearly sold their season, which
Yeah,
also kind of surprising that that trade for Vancouver comes with the Flames being that they're in the same division, so they're going to see them
yeah,
plenty of times. That could, and it sounds like the Flames are trying to lose, but that's pretty insane. But yeah, so the Kings being that they play the Flames, the Ducks, the Sharks, the Kraken, they should be able to hold off the Predators and hold off the Blues. And the Blues and the
yeah,
Preds, I mean, they play a tough schedule as well with them having to see the Jets, who also improved. We'll get to that trade in a second. And then the Avalanche, and of course, my Dallas Stars. But yeah, no,
and
they should
Nashville.
get that wild card position. And being that, like we mentioned, there's a little boost. Hopefully, that helps the Kings get there for their sake. Hopefully. I briefly touched on that. There's another trade going on with the Jets. They made a trade with the Canadiens. Obviously,
They got Sean
conference.
Monahan.
They
He
did,
is a
yes.
center that was drafted by the Calgary Flames back in 2014. Oh no, 2013. So far, he's got 514 points, 231 goals, and 283 assists on his career. So, I mean, he's not terrible. He's a pretty solid player. He's a good center. So we'll see how the Jets use him. You know, I mean, they still have like Kyle Connor and everything else, but I mean, with his injury, they'll probably be a little bit more um, lenient with his playtime. So, yeah, well, it'd be nice to see. I mean, they're in a prime position to be number one. At least they were. So I don't know. I don't know what can happen. You know, it's going to be nice to see.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Monahan, like you mentioned, drafted in 2013, brings a bit of experience as well.
A veteran player.
Hockey definitely loves a player with um, that kind of leadership that they can
Yeah.
provide to younger players. And so that's good for the Jets, I guess. I remember talking about how like they had an issue earlier in the season with bringing in fans, and I'm not going to pretend like Monahan's enough of a draw, but I mean this team is in first place of their division. They're getting
Yeah.
better. That could be scary, and particularly I don't like to see it in my conference or my division. But
Yeah. I mean,
oh, I'm sorry. I said they were leading their division.
they're not.
The Avalanche are. Yeah, yeah, my
Yeah.
fault.
I mean, they have 47 games played, and they're only 3 points behind the Avalanche. So I mean, it's most likely that they'll be first, but who knows? I mean, anything can happen. They can lose a few games, and so on. But
Yeah, being that they're what is it like 5 points ahead of the Blues? They are
they're
nine
11 points.
points. 11. Man, I'm terrible right now.
It's
They're
okay,
11
dude.
points ahead of them and have 2 games in hand, so they should for sure be a playoff team. So Monahan, of
100%.
course, just bolstering the roster, give themselves a better chance when that time comes around.
But I mean, honestly, it's gonna be nice to see because I mean, once you hit the playoffs, it's one and done. So I mean, you can just have a really stacked team, a really good team for the regular season, and then just lose it out in the playoffs. So it'll be
And
interesting to see.
man, and hockey playoffs are so competitive. Like you
Yeah.
might
Oh,
think that you are, oh, we're a sure
any old
shot.
regular season game isn't enough to show off the playoff push that they would have. I
Dude, and
mean,
sometimes like goalies just like so I remember when the pandemic season happens, they have the playoffs in I forget it, it was I think it was Nova Scotia or Scotiabank Arena, whatever. The Stars make a run to the Stanley Cup Finals, and that was off the back of what my God, why am I playing Kudobin? Did for us in goal, and Kudobin didn't. He before that point and after that point was never that good, but he takes to the Stanley Cup Finals. We do lose, but I mean, you get a hot goalie around that time, it can be so dangerous, and you don't always expect it. There's no way like. People still
yeah,
want. Some people wanted Ben Bishop back in goal in that season, and Doby just took over and led them to where they ended up going. So I mean, you get hot at the right time, it definitely helps. I remember, we were talking about the Predators potentially coming back up in the standings and going on a big win streak, and now they're just tanking games. I mean, in their last six, you have lost to the Coyotes, which is a team at the bottom of that division. You got lost to the Panthers, Oilers, Senators, and then the aforementioned Kings. That's a team that it looks like they're dropping out of that wild card spot. So it does look like, I mean, it'll be them or the Blues, right? And they're both pretty close, but they've dropped a lot of games. Blues have 2 games in hand, still plenty to go, but the Preds, man, they're dropping off fast.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting, but I mean, the Red Wings, they're holding on to the last spot of the wild card so far, but we'll see what happens. I mean, we've played a lot of games, and with the Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning, it'll be pretty tough to eke into that third spot. But hopefully, we'll make the playoffs because I mean, it doesn't look like the Buffalo Sabres, the Habs, the Penguins, the Islanders. All these teams don't really look like they're I don't know, getting to where the Red Wings are. So, I mean, we're still ahead by a few points, but I don't know. Anything can happen. We'll see what happens. I just a bit nervous. I want to see him win, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, Islanders were an example of. Oh no, was it the Oilers? I always get them. Oilers fired their coach earlier in the season, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Bro, the blue and orange always
Yeah, they
throws me
did. They
off.
did because the new coach had a relationship with Connor McDavid or something like that, and then I think they like played together or something. I don't know, but
Something along those lines.
it was a while ago. It was at least 3 months ago, so I don't blame you for not knowing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And where are they? I don't even see them in the standings right now.
Who are the Oilers?
Yeah,
They're number 3 in the Pacific.
in the Pacific. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah, that'll be interesting. And they have played the least games in the season. That's right. They're at
Yeah,
45 games. So I mean, hey, and at that point when they fired their coach, they were looking terrible. So I mean, going back to the
they
Kings,
were like 7th place. They were right next to the Sharks. I was considering them to be one of the worst teams early on, but once they fired that coach and Connor McDavid got on a hot streak, I mean, they're now on a 16-game winning streak. That's fucking 32 points right there. So that's really good.
that is absurd, man. That's insane. So yeah, hey, the firings work, and we'll see if the Red Wings are able to hold on to that position. Speaking of the Red Wings, so your next game is when?
Saturday we play the Canucks, and I think Tuesday we play the Knights. I don't know. I know we. Oh no, the Oilers. That's who it is. We play 2 tough games coming up, so I assume we'll probably just lose both of them. But who knows what'll happen.
Man, you sound very confident in making the playoffs right now.
Well, I mean, it's the Oilers and the Canucks. You
And
expect
then
to win against those
it's
teams
so
all the
funny too
time?
because
I don't know.
your next two of three are against the Canucks. That is pretty rough. It goes Canucks, Oilers, Canucks.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I mean, I will say that we play the Canucks on Saturday, and then the Canucks play on Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see exactly,
if they like rest someone,
yeah, if they'll try to be a little bit more conservative and try to win the next game against the Capitals. But I don't know.
well, and
The
so
Canucks are 8-0-2 in their last 10, and that's pretty crazy.
the Canucks also so they play tonight and then they play Thursday and then they see all Saturday. Your first game back from All Star Weekend is Saturday, so I mean
Yeah,
y'all should definitely be much
rested.
fresher
Yeah.
than them. And so hey,
Damn, I
man,
can't
who
believe they
knows?
play 4 games by the time we. I don't know. They might even play 5. What the fuck, man? That's crazy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a team who is playing 4 games for the next time we record, the Dallas Stars. What a transition! Got to give myself
Yeah,
some
they
credit.
play 5 before Tuesday. That's crazy.
Jesus, that is a ton of hockey to be played.
And they have one of the top games played. Like they played 49. So I mean, it's
Mind
crazy to
you,
see that the Oilers are only playing like 2 or 3 games this week as opposed to the Canucks. I mean, I don't know. It's
and the
wild.
Canucks, every one of their games, every one of those 5 games going into all the way to next Tuesday is on the road. They're going to be traveling the entire time. So that
Yeah.
also makes it difficult on players. So that could be another advantage for y'all for sure.
Yeah. I
That's a
mean,
tough stretch, 5 on the road for them.
Little Caesars Arena is pretty solid.
Yeah, sure.
Pizza,
You
pizza. Uh,
all right? And let me give you my projections for the Stars. So tonight they go ahead and play Buffalo, the Sabres in Buffalo. I'll go ahead and give
they'll
us
probably lose.
nope. I'm gonna give us a victory there.
The Sabres are
Saturday,
really good,
or I'm
dude.
sorry, we play today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Tuesday. So today, Dub, tomorrow against Toronto in Toronto. I feel like that city's a buzz. I'll say the Maple Leafs go ahead and take that one. Saturday, we go on the road to Montreal to take on the Canadiens. The Canadiens are kind of tanking the season away. I'll say the Stars go ahead and win that one. And then next
The Habs and the
Tuesday,
Habs not.
we should just end the podcast right now. That's unreal.
That's pretty good.
Okay. And next Tuesday, just in case we record on Wednesday, I'll give that projection. We play the Carolina Hurricanes here in Dallas, returning home finally. I will say the Stars go ahead and win that one.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, man.
Be pretty interesting.
For sure, for sure. And we were talking about the standings and stuff. I do expect the Stars, who are second in the division right now. Of course, Winnipeg has 2 more games to play in their, as opposed to the Stars, and only 1 point behind them. So, I mean, I do think at worst we finish third in the division. Again, there's a big gap between us and the Blues, but
Huge
not.
gap between you and the wild card positions, but yeah,
Yeah, man. And so we gotta. I think we'll be able to hold on. We
more
should
or
be in the
less
playoffs
assured.
unless there's a big collapse or some injuries. But even with injuries to Ottinger and Heiskanen, 2 players that I would say we can't play without, we did fine. We held up. So good
Yeah,
for
I
the
think Patrick
Stars.
Kane's going to be playing on Saturday. Well, I guess they have to because I mean it's Saturday, but yeah, they were talking about he's going to be coming back after the All-Star break, so it'd be pretty nice to see Patrick Kane because I don't know, he's been a solid addition ever since we got him, even though he's old and decrepit, like that one fucking article
Decrepit.
said. Yeah,
No, yeah, for sure. So it looks like we're getting on the right track for as far as injuries. So let's see what our teams can do, Keaton.
is your dude back? Old boy.
Heiskanen?
I don't know. Whoever was like week to week or day to day for the last
So
like
they,
two
I
or
feel
3
like
weeks.
every injury I've ever seen, they're week to week and day to day. Ottinger's back, Heiskanen's
The most
back.
recent one. Oh god.
I know we had an injury with Scott Wedgwood, the backup goalie. I have not seen an update on him. If you'll give me 8 seconds, I can
1,
try to. He sustained
2,
an
3,
undisclosed injury,
4,
so classic.
5,
No one.
6, 7,
I wish
8.
hockey was more transparent. I understand why they're not, but dude, come on, chill out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it. You know, you don't want to just have people like I don't know. I feel like the NFL is pretty crazy when you get like people on Twitter or whatever else, just like, "Hey, when's your knee gonna get better?" Or "Hey, like, you know, all
Well,
this
I feel
kind
like
of
you're gonna get those
unwanted
questions when
interaction."
the team doesn't announce anything. Like, if
Well,
the team
sure,
was
but I
just
mean,
like
it's a
he'll
little
be
bit more
back,
vague. I don't know.
well, like if they just said like he's gonna play in 2 weeks, no one's gonna send him a message saying when are you gonna play? It's
Well,
already
yeah,
out there. But
but then again, you don't really know. You know, the
well,
bodies
right
are
now we
weird, bro.
definitely don't know. I know that for a fact. But it said he's day to day, and that was about two
Yeah,
weeks ago. So
yeah,
he should be back, especially returning from this All Star break. He's had
yeah.
ample time, but again, was that day to day a smoke screen, and it's really week to week, month to month. We'll
Year to
see.
year.
Yeah, so he should be back
Yeah, we'll see.
for
But
sure. We will see.
I don't know. I kind of like the vagueness of their injuries. I mean, at least the kind of injury. I mean, you know, like it'd be nice to know exactly when they'll be out. You know, 4 to 6 weeks, that kind of thing. But like, I don't know, upper body injury. That's all you really need to know, man. You don't really need to know like pectoral
Did he
muscle
lose
and
an eye or did he just sprain his thumb? Who knows? It's upper
it's an upper
body.
body.
God.
You
All
never
right.
know, man.
You got anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, dude. Totally.
Okay, go for it.
I don't.
All right. Great, great. Well, that's been What's Hockey. We will
Trying to
catch
figure it
y'all
out.
later.
See you
Peace.
guys. Have a good one.